What if you could create a beautiful oasis in Prehistoric Kingdom? Well, that's what we're doing today, and I'm going to show you how you can create a great enclosure using this. Hello and welcome to today's video where we're going to create a beautiful oasis enclosure. And honestly, I think this is going to be the best enclosure yet, even surpassing this one, where today we'll be naming this Camarasaurus Stinka as per comment request of Masturbator. And if you want to name your own dinosaurs in this series, you can just leave a comment down below, so that way then you can interact with this series and get to enjoy the dinosaurs as much as I do. So, what we're going to be doing to create an oasis is actually raising up the terrain all around it, and then leaving a hole in the middle while having an elevated path going around it. Well, not necessarily around it, actually rather right through it, and put two different carnivore dinosaurs in between. Speaking of which, if there's a certain dinosaur that you want to see particularly in the series, you can. Just again, request that in the comments, so that way then I know what dinosaurs you guys want to see in the next exhibit and enclosure. So yeah, it's just gonna be simply doing this. In a few minute or two, I'm going to montage, but I want to further explain what I'm wanting to do. So on each side, there's gonna be like a little section of water, not large, and then a lot of more tropical plants. And as you can see, the menus are different. If you hadn't already realized that Prehistoric Kingdom had updated. So yeah, I'm interested to see that. And there's also more foliage types. So we're going to be using a little bit of the tropical foliage, but alongside that, we're going to be using the bushland desert variant as well. But yeah, I'll just in a second here go through all of them, show you all the ones that they do have. So yeah, sadly editing the water terrain, but doesn't really matter a ton. Of course, we're going to change the texture of this area, and yeah, again, so that way then, honestly, I really like this, because then it's the different plant groupings based off of the different types. So that's not limited to one or the other. This one's interesting. Yeah, bushland. That one I'm excited for. In particular. And yeah, I mean, not as much variation in boreal, which is perfectly fine, because you just need that one type, and then like really just the lowland version of that, which we're going to definitely be using. So now that we're done with the general area and adding in most of the terrain, what we're going to be doing now is adding in some of the foliage after we just finishing up doing these finishing details to just again give that rock work looking, have a more realism to it, and rather than the straw like grass covering up portions of the wall. And on the interior of this land bridge, what we're going to be doing, it's very dense, need to turn that density down, but this one I'm interested in. I like it, just speckle a little bit around it. It's not going to be super arid. You know what, I think we are still going to add some of that, oasis foliage into here, just a little bit around like a small tiny little pond. And inside these two enclosures, just to give you a preview of what we're going to be adding, we're going to put Dilophosaurus and Coelophysis. Coelophysis is the smaller one, Dilophosaurus in the bigger one. So yeah, we haven't used either of them in our parks, and I'm excited to see how they look. Because neither one I've actually used a lot either. So, yeah. A little bit dense around here in the Compsognathus enclosure. Oh, tree removal. It removes all types of trees. Just kind of wanting a little bit less than a tropical. Like, and it looks cool, and it's good. It looks kind of like a beach, honestly. Yeah, an oasis as well. But yeah, it's not like super arid or anything like that. It's just like a bushland with a little pocket of water where all types of oasis plants just gather around that. Because the overall area isn't wet enough for them. So yeah, let's go ahead and add some rocks, and we'll go into montage here in a second to just finish all that up. And now that we're done with this great rock work, that's just simple, doesn't need to change the color of it, just put lots of rocks in here to just do that simple thing. And now let's add a shelter. How are we doing this is just simple. We're going to actually turn off the grid just to get a base area of what we want to do. Just do that simple. And you know what, we might even turn on the grid there just to have it match up with that. It's not quite even, however, we can just adjust the boards on the back. And that way then it has a uniform edge to it, and like we know like how far do we actually really want this to go out. And we're gonna have this supported by just simple rocks. Don't need to really change a lot to it. I mean, we could use these, but honestly I prefer just to use something that we've used a lot so far and just do some rocks. Although we could have just done the entire thing rock work, I find this just a little bit simpler. And a good mix from all the rocks that we've already used so far. Just gonna have that back have some rock texture to it. And now let's add in the straw beds. I do have one concern that they can edit terrain around them and flatten. Concerned that they might overlap and cause us have to move back in that hill again. Of course, that's something that can be turned off in the settings. I just didn't really bother to because I didn't really know how it would work. But yeah, we're going to have to change that in a second. So let's go ahead and work on the other enclosure. We'll probably go into a montage just so while I try to figure that out, how to get it to work the way we, of course, want it to. So yeah, let's use the grid and have it. I just don't know how high it really needs to be for comps and Nafis. I hope I made it high enough for the dial-off sources. And just have that end area surrounded more so by the said rocks. And then make it look like it's more mounted in something. So yeah. And now that we finished up our shelters, let's go ahead and incubate all of our dinosaurs that we're going to be using. Let's start off with our Coelophysis and decide what skin type variation are we going to be doing. I don't really want to use the feather one. I want to have a little bit more arid of a feeling to it. And you know what? Let's go with the first one. Simple and yet a really nice ornate pattern that isn't over the top, but also has a nice texture to it. Don't really want to go with fluffy here, considering the type of environment it is. It doesn't really blend in. As much as I like the little bit of spikes that come off of it, I think this one is more appropriate for the exhibit. How many do you want to put? You know what? Let's just start out as 2, because I know they're really large in this game compared to every other dinosaur game that underestimates their size and makes them look like a freak. Let's just don't overestimate how many we need. And honestly, I think that's good. 2 large top predators in that size enclosure, I don't think is bad. I don't think it's really undersized either. A little bit concerned with the Coelophysis, but I think it's going to be good too.
Just like how many Hollywood icons
A little bit of glitching, as always.
in concrete at the famous Chinese theater.
Why do you have to
Many
keep blabbing on, Nigel?
known as
No
Later have
one
been attributed
cares.
to Coelophysis.
At least I don't think
There
anyone
must have been
cares.
quite a
Hey,
celebrity
do you guys
back in
prefer
the day.
Nigel or me? Let me know in the comments down below. And you know what? Also, by the way, so that we can see more of these awesome dinosaurs and continue on the series, please leave a like and subscribe so that way then we can keep doing this
is such a gorgeous
and
creature.
eventually
Its
create a large community of people
magnificent
who
and
love
that
these
noticeable
games
notch in its jaw. It's one of the most
so then
recognizable
everyone can
predators
enjoy.
to ever live. I'll never understand the guests who think it isn't cool enough as it is. Fancy frills and baubles would only take away from such a beautiful but deadly creature.
Now that we're done adding the paths and listening to Nigel blab on, hopefully for the rest of the episode, let's go ahead and add some guest facilities. I know what you're thinking. The one I've so far created is bad. And since I'm not good at it, might as well leave it to the modular folder and instead do something that looks good, doesn't take away from the park, and complements my enclosure designs. Because if I'm being honest, this is not my forte of this game. And it doesn't have to be yours either. And you know what? I genuinely like the modular prefab tool just because of this. That if you don't want to spend your time building a certain thing, you don't have to. You can rather just use a pre-designed thing that works and functions the way you need it to get it done and don't have to spend a lot of time, while still looking good in your park. Figure just doing simple as that doesn't really matter. Don't have to worry about it. Just get that done. Because I'm personally not a person who likes to design the amenities. I just like to get the dinosaurs and create beautiful enclosures. And whatever you personally prefer doing in this game, you always can use the modular prefab tool to that way. Then make sure you don't spend too much time on something you don't want to spend too much time on, so you can do whatever you want, but still get your enclosure completed and park in Prehistoric Kingdom. And by far, that's the best advice I can give. Sucks we have to do is a tiny path here, but it wasn't working otherwise. Wasn't trying to pause that. I didn't even know what I clicked, but whatever. Despite that, let's go ahead and check out these dinosaurs here at the end. See whatever they're getting up to. You know, and honestly, I really like these Coelophysis, the way they fit in with their enclosure. Same with the Dilophosaurus. And yeah, this skin texture design. Yeah, you get to do a 360. Well, not quite a 360, but it's even close to 360, really. But hey, at least you get water after. I don't even know what angle you did. Sheesh. That was weird. Okay, we ignored that. And rather, we just appreciate how nice this Dilophosaurus is. Speaking of which, you guys want to name these guys, again, just leave a comment down below. And while you're at it, hit the subscribe and like button. It's greatly appreciated here as we're coming to the end of this video. And don't worry, for any of you JWE2 fans, I'm going to be uploading another video on that soon. And sorry for this upload taking as long as it did. I just got distracted and didn't have enough time to work on this. And of course, I wanted to, but didn't align with the schedule I had at the time. I'm going to try to, of course, be more consistent and not worry about Coelophysis, sorry, not Compsognathus, doing snorkels. Yeah. That was interesting. Okay. Again, thank you all for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button,